Looks like we have several people joining us. Everybody can't wait to hear from Skip. I know I have been excited. I have been counting down till this event.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so go ahead and if you have comments or anything like that, put them in our chat because we can bring up the chat. Before we get started, we're going to give it a couple minutes. We do have actually several people that have signed up for this. So we want to make sure that we were just having a discussion even about timing, different areas, different locations, and the time that people are trying to jump on. And some people may be trying to shovel in dinner really quick, like, and so I'll give it a couple minutes while they get situated.
Where there's a will, there's a way, right?
I
Yeah,
hear you.
and
It's one hour out of our week, and none of us, I don't think, are going to starve, especially after COVID. We could use a little fasting.
I was
So
smart.
Hey, everybody, how are you?
they can't, they're on mute, but
Okay.
say hello. So I do want to also point out while we're waiting, I have the screen up because we have, it's a Women and Drones business to business webinar. And we're very thankful that Women and Drones has allowed us to do this. So pretty excited about that. We also have a couple things that I want to mention as far as reminders. Women in Drones has a membership, which is awesome. There's so many benefits available to us by being a member. And so Kim and I, we actually have a discount code that you can use if you choose to be a Women in Drones member.
Get yo discount.
Yeah, discount.
It'll pay for itself totally. Just the
Yeah.
coffee connection. I got to tell you guys, the coffee connection is, for me, it's the highlight of my week, and I have a lot of exciting things going on in my life, but I love it because I get to be with, drone people in every aspect. And then also, nobody on the call asks how high you can fly or how far you can fly. Everybody knows, so that's really nice.
Yeah. And the Coffee Connect, and that's on every Tuesday. And I'm going to say 9 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time, but obviously throughout the United States and from where you are, it might be a little bit different. So with that, I would like to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to bump this over and Skip Fredricks is here to tell us all about how we're going to make money with our drone. I can't wait. Matter of fact, my husband was just saying there it is. It needs to make money now.
That's right. He's like, yes.
So do you guys, is there like a fish, do you introduce me or I just start doing my thing? I don't know what, since I'm your guest, I just figured I'd let you tell me what I'm supposed to do before I start doing what I do.
Well, I have a brief beginning to introduce you, and it's the same one that I have used when we did the spotlight because we were lucky enough to have you as a spotlight. You're very active in our drone community. You are also, Skip has done a lot with Grossmont College. He's got Hollywood Drones where he's very well known. We're so excited to hear from him today. He's also recently won an award with some of his students from Grossmont College, and I hope he's going to share some of those tips as well. Skip, thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you very much. I'm so excited to have this webinar with all you people out there. It's a little bit different than what we've been doing lately in the last couple of months. I've been part of the Women in Drones. I try to go have coffee with them every Tuesday morning. I enjoy that conversation. It's very casual. I've also been doing my own live streaming through my own channels on my own social media site for my students on Saturdays about 9 o'clock. So that's been really good and a lot of fun. And but it's always been, sometimes the subjects have been from over here to over here. And this one, I know we wanted to stay really narrow because I get this question a lot, whether it's at these seminars like Interdrone or Commercial Drone Expo or something like that, or even in my classes, it's, how do you make money? And obviously, there's no magic bullet on how to make money. And of course, because I'm in television and film, the first thing they want to know is, how do you make money in television and film, or how do you get into television and film? So maybe we'll leave how you get into television and film for the end. And what we'll do right now is we'll just work on like quick fixes on how to get money, how to pick up some quick money. Well, obviously, first of all, you need to be, you need to have your 107 license. So if you're here already, I'm assuming you do. Maybe you don't, but you need your pilot's license so that you can follow all the commercial rules. You can accept money. You can get waivers as needed to fly in certain areas. So you need that. And you also need basically sort of a semi-respectable drone. What I look for now, or what a lot of people in various industries are looking for, is at least a 4K camera. And pretty much now most of the drones that you purchase will have it. Although the Mavic Air 2 let's see, the Mavic Mini has a 2.5. So 2.5K is okay, that'll work. It's sort of like, it's not HD and it's not 4K, it's in the middle, but it's good enough, at least for if you want to take pictures with real estate, which is the low-hanging fruit, which is what we're going to talk about initially first. So you need at least, all the DJI drones pretty much work, the newer ones, the Phantom 4, the 4 and the 4 Pro and the 4 Plus, the Mavic Pro, the Mavic Pro 2, the Mavic Zoom, the Mavic Air, the Mavic Air 2. So all those drones work. And on the other manufacturer, the Evo 1 will work great. And now the Evo 2, if you can get your hands on them. If you want to do professional cinematography for like television commercials and music videos, you're gonna have to go with the 1-inch sensor that is on the Phantom 4 Pro 2. These numbers are all crazy. And also on the Mavic Pro 2. And now on the new Evo 2. So I think I'm getting my 2s in there. The 1-inch sensor is really important if you're going to go in that direction, because that's what a lot of low-budget filmmakers, and that's also what a lot of low-budget television commercials and music videos, they use when they're on the ground. Maybe some of you have these.
Oh, I don't.
DSLR camera. And the DSLR camera has a 1-inch sensor, and those cameras match up really nice. Those cameras, lenses, and sensors match up really nice with the Mavic Pro 2 and the Phantom 4 Pro 2, because they both have 1-inch sensors. So that's really critical, and that gives you depth of field and things that are really important for creative filmmakers. So if you're going to be doing weddings, if you're going to be doing TV commercials, you're going to be doing local cable, you're going to be doing anything where the camera on the ground is one of those DSLR or mirrorless cameras that has a 1-inch, you're going to need to have at least a drone with a 1-inch sensor to match those images. Now, for real estate, it doesn't matter. You just need 4K and 12 megapixels. So hopefully, with all the crazy numbers out there, hopefully you got the idea what kind of drones you need so you can go out and make money. So that's the first thing. I'm going to just look back at you, Desi, and I heard all kinds of different kinds of noises and things like that. Am I okay? Is the sound still good?
We're good. Couple things. I will work on getting it so we drop out and it's only you, because you'll be doing your presentation soon. Also, I would like to know, is this a good time to segue into the poll? We have a couple polls for our attendees today.
Well, you are the host, so you can just break in, tell me to shut up, and do a poll or whatever you want, whenever you want to.
Okay, well, this is our only poll for the day. So, but we do have a couple questions. And so I'm going to go ahead and launch the poll if everybody wants to go ahead and take some time and answer those.
They can answer those live. You can actually click on that and do that poll in live. Is that how it works?
Yes.
That's pretty cool. I didn't do that before.
Answers are coming in already.
Ooh, people want to get into the movies. Actually, so your footage, yeah, okay. Hey, I like this. I want to do this on some of my stuff.
I did good then, right?
It's just like a new toy, just give me a new toy to play around with, and I'm all happy.
Okay, I'm going to end the poll. I think everybody's had a chance. And then I'm going to share the results with everyone, all right? And then that way you can also kind of gauge some of the audience there. But
Okay.
it looks like a lot of people want to know about the flight techniques. And we
Yeah.
have a lot that are already certified 107 pilots. All right. So, and then it looks like how to market yourself in the industry would be our runner up as far as what people are hoping to gain from this today.
All right.
All right.
Okay,
So
great.
now we kind of have a direction.
Okay. Does this thing go away? Do I take this off my screen or do you take it off my screen? Do I close this?
I closed it, and now you can start your webinar if you'd like. You can do
Okay,
share
great.
screen.
I've got a couple texts from people that can't get in. I don't know why. So, okay, so all of you want to be filmmakers. We will forget the low-hanging fruit then. We won't talk about, we will towards later. We won't really talk about real estate photography, real estate videography. I will say this, no matter what you're doing, no matter what direction you're going to go to, whether it's, if you want to go into film, you need to practice. I emphasize this on all my classes, I emphasize this in all my seminars. The most important thing that you can do as a filmmaker and as a drone pilot is fly a straight line. I know that sounds crazy, but apparently a lot of people just, they don't go out and practice and they just don't do a straight line. And I mean a straight line as like a straight line. So either way, just imagine going down a sidewalk. Sidewalk's about 3 feet, average sidewalk's about 3.5 feet wide. Some are 4 feet wide, but let's just say 3 feet. Okay. If you're tracking a subject, if your director is having you fly down a sidewalk to follow a talent and you vary off of that sidewalk, then your shot won't be any good. They won't take it. You're going to have to do it again. So you need to fly a straight line and you need to fly one all the time. If you're doing a static image, let's say you're doing a television commercial. A lot of television commercials are static images where you're flying up to a store, you're flying up to a car, you're flying up to an object that doesn't move. Again, if you don't fly a straight line, what's going to happen is that image in your frame, the one that the viewer is looking at, is going to be moving, and that's very disturbing. It doesn't work. So your images can't be moving around and drifting from side to side, and you can't correct it when you're in the middle of it. So if you're going to be off and you realize halfway through that shot you're off, you're going to have to do it again, because they're not going to accept the shot that they can't use. So you might have to do it again and again and again. Imagine if you weren't filming with a drone. Imagine if you're a director of photography or a cameraman, your idea would be to track a subject. They actually put cameras on tracks, on like little railroad tracks, and they move them so the camera stays straight on whatever position they're going to. And in the movies and in television and film and all this stuff we're talking about right now, in cinematography, the terms the director will use with you will be camera terms. He will tell you to dolly forward, because they're looking at the drone as a camera. So he will tell you to dolly forward, and that is a straight line forward shot. Or he'll tell you to dolly back. And again, that's forward, backwards, nice and straight. For you pilots out there that have your fingers all over the controls, if you're doing a dolly shot, if you're flying forward or backwards, take your left hand off the stick, because you certainly don't want to have a heavy thumb and have the drone's nose turned to the right or to the left while you're flying a straight line. I mean, I sometimes just hold on to the controller. Once I get my altitude, I sometimes just hold on to the controller, take my fingers off the stick, and fly with the right stick. Only go forward and backwards. Interestingly enough, if you do that and you find yourself drifting slightly on front, going front or backwards, you can adapt. You can gradually move the drone to the right or to the left as you're going forward to compensate if you end up drifting. So straight line's most important. How do you practice that? Go out into the field, get a couple cones, put them 20 yards apart, put them 25 yards apart, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and try to hit the cones, one cone to another. Just do that till your fingers fall off, because that's the most important shot that you're going to need to know. Second most important shot that you're going to need to know is as boring as the first shot. You're going to need to go left and right. Yep, you have to go left and right. That's called tracking. That's like standard in television and film. And again, what they do is on the ground, they'll put tracks on the ground, look like little train tracks, and the camera will sit on that and it'll roll left and right. So if you can't fly your drone left and right in a straight line horizontally, you're going to run into the same problem. And it's worse, it's really worse when you're going left and right, because what happens is if you start drifting forward, the image starts filling up your screen, and that doesn't look good, especially if you're supposed to be, if you're doing a car, let's say you're alongside of a car, you're doing a tracking shot along a car, and you start drifting in, and the car starts filling up the screen, and you don't get the shot, or if you're drifting away. Additionally, when you're setting up that shot, you got to make sure you're straight when you start. So you set your drone in the middle of the shot, and then with the left stick, you turn it to the right or to the left until everything's lined up. And if you had a great instructor, like supposedly I think I am, well, at least in my own mind. So if you have, and your controller would have been set up with the little crossbars in it, right? The framing. It's rule of thirds. You have to make sure. So it's easy to track left or right if you keep one of those 3 spaces that is designed into the DJI drone in a line. So how do you practice that? The same thing. Go out to some field, get a couple cones. You don't need to be 500 yards apart, but 25 yards apart and go back and forth till you get it. And always try to maintain that 3 feet of distance, because usually if you stay within 3 feet, forward or backwards or left or right, it's not noticeable. It's not noticeable to the viewer. So that's pretty much how those are the 2 most important things you need to do, technically speaking. And those things will work whether you're doing a static job, potentially maybe you're doing a housing complex, a restaurant complex, marinas, a lot of television commercials are static. They're not necessarily moving. They don't have local commercials. There's no talent. So in those cases, the drone needs to fly straight forwards and backwards, straight left and right. If you can do that, then you can move on to some of these other techniques. So the next technique that you're going to want to do is, and that works when you're following a person, when you're tracking a person or an object. And remember this, when you're tracking, you're to the left or to the right. If you're tracking somebody or a car or a boat or a motorcycle, what you want to do is you want to give that object, that person, that target, you want to give them front lead space. So the idea is, if you're going to the right, let's say you're flying to the right. I don't know which way it is in the monitor here, but if you're flying to the right, what you want to do is you want to leave a lot of space in the direction that the object is going. So your object should actually be in the back third of the screen with all this area in front of it, because that's a natural way that people look at movies and television, where they move towards the direction of the open screen. Usually 2/3 of the screen is open. The talent, when you guys are watching TV and commercials and stuff, you'll start seeing this stuff. The talent, the objects are in the back third of the screen in whatever direction you're going. If you put the object or the talent in the front of the screen in the same direction that it's going, let's say if you're going camera left and you have the target in the left end of the frame, it has a tendency to make the person watching this subconsciously think person's going to fall out of the frame, the car is going to fall out of the frame. It's just standard filmmaking, doesn't work. It's a little more difficult with drones, because obviously the drone is in the air and it's moving, and it's in 3D space, and you really have to work on timing the movement with the target. Here's what I can say. It's better to get ahead of your target and let them walk into the frame than let your target get ahead of you to where they walk out of your frame. So it's okay to catch up with your target. It's okay to get ahead of your target so there's more space there, but not okay to let your target get ahead of you. So remember that when you're tracking somebody. When you're following somebody forward, a car, a vehicle, whatever, you sort of almost want that in the middle of the frame. You want that in the middle of the frame if you're going forward. Let's say if you're following a car, if you're following a person, you almost want that in the middle, because that would be the same thing that if you were walking behind somebody, that's sort of your vision. You would have a horizon, you would have the floor, and then you would have your peripheral vision out the side. So if you're following somebody or somebody's walking to you, you want to put them right in the middle of the screen, right? A person, a car, a motorcycle, a boat, and you want to have an equal amount of horizon and maybe an equal amount of ground. One other thing about horizons, let's talk about the sky for a second. I know I sort of bounced between one thing and another. The thing, a lot of people, a lot of you guys, when you fly your drones, you leave your gimbal set right in the middle and you cut the horizon in half. So half of your image is land, half of your image is sky. That's wrong. You don't need half of your image to be sky. You need most of your image to be land. People don't care about blue sky at all, right? So if you're looking at your monitor, your DJI monitor or whatever monitor you're looking at, basically just about the top, not even third, but the half of that, right, which is a sixth, is sky. You need to have sky in there to establish that you're a drone and you're flying, but you certainly don't need to have half of the screen. That's just way too much. Additionally, if you got half of the screen is sky, you're gonna blow out your image. It's gonna be so bright that it's gonna darken everything on the ground. That's a segue for the exposure. Here's the thing about manual settings. If you do not have to use manual settings, don't. Drones are not like cameras on the ground. Drones are flying through three-dimensional space in the air, obviously, and just the slightest change in direction will change your settings if you set manual. And most of the time, you won't have the ability to set those images, to set that camera when you're flying. Use the auto settings. It's not the best thing you could do, but it's the best thing you do considering you're flying a drone at the same time. In some cases, if you're working on a bigger set, the director might have a look that he's looking for, and that director then would end up telling you what your ISO needs to be, what your exposure needs to be, and all those kind of things. There's no magic bullet for that. I can't say it should always be this or it should always be that. So there's not. But I can tell you that the safest way to keep your ground bright and your sky blue is to make sure your drone's gimbal is aimed a little bit down for that. Let's talk a little bit about more drone stuff before I get into the exciting stuff of tracking a car and doing stuff for the movies and all that kind of stuff like that. So when you're in the air flying, what you want to do is you definitely want the sweet spot. If the sweet spot for flying for anybody in film, television is 100 feet. So I know when everybody gets their drone, they love just blasting up to the stratosphere and go up to 400 feet, and everybody takes their cameras and point it down. You got a beautiful beach, and you got the mountains and all that. Okay, well, that was really cool, like 5 years ago when drones were new and everybody was looking at those pictures of the beach from 400 feet up. But you can get a better picture of a beach from 400 feet up actually in an airplane from 500 feet up, okay, or a helicopter. The part where filmmakers can't really get is between 100 and 150 feet. The jibs and cranes they use on the ground, if it's a bigger budget film, they can only get up to about 30 feet. That's it, crane comes at 30 feet. Helicopters, as we all know, because we're pilots, and airplanes, they can't go below 500 feet. But even at 500 feet, they carry bigger cameras, which allow them to zoom in. But directors and filmmakers and music video people and all those people, what they really like when they see it is 100 feet to about 150 feet. That's about it. Unless you're chasing a car, or motorcycle, or vehicle, or something like that, where you might want to be about 25 feet off the ground. So that's kind of the magic number. Let's just say that you're not looking at getting a job in the film industry, and I hope I don't crush anybody's dreams and say that's probably a good idea. I speak at USC and UCLA, and the college students that in the film classes, they're all excited. Oh, I'm a filmmaker, and then I get up on the podium and I just trash their dreams, and it's so sad to see their faces. But anyway, a lot of you people out there are going to start your own businesses, right? You're going to start your own businesses. You're going to be your own video production company. Maybe the idea is you're going to be doing, weddings. You're going to be doing local news, local television commercials. You're going to set up your own shop. So when you do set up your own shop and you start working to get business in, the idea is when you're wanting to recommend shots and show off stuff to potential clients, 100 feet, that's the magic number. That's the stuff that they're not really going to see. They won't see the 100 feet mark. They'll see way higher and maybe lower. So that's kind of the overview on the technical aspects of what you need to look for. Let's get into some tips and tricks on. Gee, my voice is shot. Hold on one second. Okay. Let's start at the big side first. Let's start at television film production, right? So what they're doing with drones in the industry are taking the place of pretty much steady cams. And a steady cam is an apparatus that a filmmaker wears on their body that holds a big camera. The camera's on a gimbal, which is very similar to the gimbal that you have on your drones, and they move around to get action. That's changed filmmaking. I think these things hit the market 20 years ago, 15 years ago, and it's just changed filmmaking dramatically. It allows Keanu Reeves to do the John Wick movies. It allowed for The Matrix. It allowed for all that unique filming because it gave the camera the ability to move around a lot quicker in a floating sensation because it was on a gimbal, very much similar to the DJI Osmo, the first one that came out that was on a gimbal, something like that. Okay, so what the drone does, and why directors and cinematographers are looking at this, is where the Steadicam didn't really give you three-dimensional space because it was attached to the ground, right? You stand on the ground and you hold the camera. So you can never really get true three-dimensional space. Well, with the drones came along and once the gimbals were attached 3-4 years ago, whatever, you got true three-dimensional space. So filmmakers, whether you're an independent one, you want to do crazy music videos or DJ shows or whatever, so filmmakers have the ability to actually recreate scenes that up until then had only been seen on a monitor in a video game, right? If it's a first-person shooter or some kind of video game, isn't it crazy to where the camera might just wrap around to the front of somebody and jump up into the air? That was impossible to do before, but not now. You can take a drone and you can go halfway around somebody and then go up and back and get a truly dynamic three-dimensional shot of that person or object. So here's why directors and here's why people, when they look at drone footage, are so amazed when they see the right footage. What the drone gives you the ability of, the drone gives you what's called depth of field if you shoot the video right. And it's really difficult to get that kind of depth of field with a camera that's stuck on the ground. So here's an example of a shot. So there's a couple of shots that you will want to do creatively all the time. And you've probably heard these mentioned. One is a reveal, and one is a sort of a tracking reveal. So what makes these so unique, and why do you have to do these a certain way for them to work? So again, we're talking about depth of field. We want a three-dimensional, sort of like a parallax view, right? So the only way to create depth is for you to have a background and a foreground. Background, foreground. And that allows the viewer to see, obviously, something in the front, the background, and then, the foreground, and then something in the back, the background. That gives them a perception, perspective, that gives them the depth of field that they need to become part of the scene. So let's just say you're doing a reveal, right? You're doing a reveal. And so this is the castle, this is the house, this is the guy in the car, and your drone's here. So your drone is going to fly over this and then reveal what's behind it. So a lot of you guys, a lot of videos I've seen, people just think they're just going to go up and that's going to be a reveal. But it doesn't work unless you have a foreground. You positively need to have something in front of whatever's in back. Now, a lot of people think that a reveal has to go up 300 feet. It doesn't. All a reveal has to do is establish the fact that there's something in the foreground and that you're going to move that drone maybe only 5 feet. You could do a reveal that's only 15 feet off the ground. You can go over something and show something behind it. Or you can go straight up. You can go vertical and show something behind it. So the idea is when you're going to do a reveal and you're going to do a reveal forward, it works because you have something in the foreground. Now, if you really want to make that super dynamic, you could frame the reveal. So what do we mean by frame the reveal? Let's imagine this hand. By the way, I have videos of this on my Drone Connect social media site, plug. Some of my students already went through it last week. I guess we'll get to that later. So anyway, imagine you have two trees, and those two trees are right in front of you. And then there's a small hill that's sort of behind the trees, and then behind that is the castle, or behind that is whatever. So the idea is to frame it, it would be for you to fly the drone between the two trees. So that's creating a frame. That's creating a picture frame. What you've done for the audience is you frame the shot, you establish where you want them to look, and the idea is they'll understand how far away the castle is when they get over that little hill or those brushes or whatever. So it's a super dynamic shot. It shows a lot, and the idea is you'll have the two trees, and that could be your frame. Obviously, don't hit them. Don't hit the trees. Watch out for branches, but it doesn't have to be trees. I mean, it could be two buildings. It could be an actual doorway. It could be anything that frames the picture. So you're looking at, so to make that dynamic, what you're doing here to be professional is adding layers on top of the video you're shooting. And they're not all tricky. I mean, again, if you're flying a straight line and you know how to fly a straight line, you'll be able to fly a straight line between the two trees over the hill and see the castle or whatever it is behind it. Okay? The reverse is true. The reverse is also true. You could start at the castle and fly a straight line back over the hill, and then a straight line back between the two trees, and establish where that castle is in relation to all those objects, or to where the viewer, to where your talent might be looking, right? So in a lot of cases, the drone could be representing the visual context of the character or person in the scene looking forward, but pulling it backwards. So that's a combination. So what you're doing is you're doing a dolly shot because you're going straight. You're doing a reveal because there's objects in the foreground and in the background. And you're framing that, which is composition, with two objects on either side of your image. And you're combining 5 different techniques into one shot, which you're not always able to do with the drone. You're just not. I mean, with anything else that's not a drone. You can't do that. You can't do that with a camera on the ground. You would never be able to dolly through the woods and the trees and this and all that kind of stuff. It's just impossible. So it's a really unique picture. So let's go to the next one that you're going to use and that you can really use dynamically, and talking about the techniques that you guys have posted. Tracking left to right, moving left to right. So what we want to do there is we want to do the same thing. You can track left to right and create a reveal, and also create the dynamic of what's behind it. So perfect example of doing a really cool tracking shot, let's say of a neighborhood, is a neighborhood where there's a hedge, maybe goes down the sidewalk. If there's, rocks along a roadway, if you want to show the dynamic of a cliff, a car going down a cliff. So the idea is you're going to track, and what you want to do is you want to start the drone where it's below whatever your foreground is. So let's say, well, let's just use the hedge as an example. So let's say you're flying along the hedge, you sort of start low, right? Maybe it's an 8-foot hedge. So start at 4 feet and get your tracking shot, start moving to the left or right, and then start moving up slightly. Now, once you've cleared the hedge, it could stay at the bottom of your image, the bottom of your frame, and then look at what's behind it. So again, for the viewer or for the talent or who's ever integrated into that shot, you're going to see the foreground and then you're going to see the background, and you're going to be able to establish the fact that there's a depth of field, and whatever it is behind there that you want people to be interested in, they'll be able to see and formulate in their own mind subconsciously how far away that object is from the viewer, or let's say from the drone. So where will you see those kind of shots, right? Those kind of shots, the two that I just described, you will see in all kinds of, you'll see that in car commercials, and you'll see it in commercials, local commercials that promote, let's just say shopping centers, restaurants, things that local TV cable companies will hire you for. You're not, Spectrum hires people just like you. They don't keep their own crew. And going to Spectrum or going to your local television station and getting work is as easy as putting your work on a thumb drive and walking in and handing it to them. So we'll get to actually going out and getting your jobs, but those are the kind of things that local commercials do. Local commercials just watch. They do tons of car shots, car commercials. And what's a car commercial? It's the shot of the dealership. It's the shot of the parking lot with all the cars. It's all of that, right? Local restaurant out here does TV commercials all the time, and they the same thing. They have a drone shot, fly across the parking lot, fly in front of the place, go down the street looking at all the trees. So if you're gonna do local television, those are the kind of jobs you're gonna get. To be more dynamic, though, if there is something that's very exciting when it comes to local television commercials, and that's cars. So in addition to potentially doing the car dealership, which is static and doesn't move, there's sometimes when you'll be able to do a car shot, moving shot. Moving shot is all the fun, right? Filming something that's moving is fun. There's all kinds of apps on the drones that let you automatically follow something. They don't really work. They're not really controlled enough for you to get a shot out of it. Maybe if you're in an open area and maybe if you're at Mission Bay or in the water and there's a boat and you want to follow the boat, it might be super easy to take the DJI app and draw a circle around the boat and let it go. That's kind of easy. But if you're going down the street and there's cars and this is just not going to do it. It's not going to stay. You're not going to be able to follow it. You won't be able to get the shot that you want. So just think the fact that when you're doing this kind of work, you're going to have to fly the drone. That's just the bottom line. Except for an orbit, you're going to have to fly the drone. So let's talk about car tracking. The first thing that you want to do when you want to track a car, get the shot from behind, easy to do. Get behind the car, 20 feet up, let it go, just follow behind the car. Remember your drones, what's a Mavic Pro's got a top speed of about 40, 43, something like that. The driver in the car is going to need to go about 35 miles an hour. You need to be able to overtake the car if it's necessary. So who's ever driving the car, 35 is it, unless you're flying an Inspire, which goes 55 miles an hour, or you got a racing drone with a GoPro on it. So your car, 35 miles an hour is it, because at a certain point, you might need to overtake the car as part of the shot, and you certainly aren't going to be able to do that if the car's going 50. Additionally, it's going to look really bad if the car's going 50, your drone will only go 40 as it just keeps pulling away into the distance, of course, unless that's what you want it to do. So the easiest shot, the most shots that you're going to get is following the car, and then usually what you want to do when you end that shot, you want to fly over the car. So the car stops, the car slows down, whatever, drone flies. A perfect way to do it, and how I've done it is the car, when the drone flies over the car, the reveal is the car dealership, right? So the car's driving down the street, Palm Canyon here, the 111, car's driving down the street, you're following the car. As it gets to the dealership, drone goes up in the air, car drives away, and there's a beautiful dealership. You can get a lot of ideas watching television. Ozarks use a ton of drone footage. Walking Dead, ton of drone footage. There's all kinds of TV shows you can watch that do a ton of drone footage. So we got that. Another shot that you're going to want to do with the next most popular shot is obviously the shot of sideways. Tracking the car sideways. And this is hard, right? Because the car is going along at 30, 35 miles an hour. The drone's now going sideways. There's really no way to keep an eye on the drone. You're looking at this, your VO's keeping an eye on it. It's always fun. But remember, if you're doing a TV commercial, they're only 30 seconds long. And in a shot like that, you only need about 5 or 6 seconds of good footage. So don't be afraid to just go ahead and go for it and, take the best that you did. So that's good. And then you want the drone in front of the car. So obviously some of this makes common sense, but you need to think about it creatively. You want the drone on the side, you want the drone in the back, you want the drone in the front, and then you want to create dynamics. You could take a drone from the side of the car and you could pan it around, you could fly it around in an arc or 1/4 of a circle to the front of the car, which is really kind of neat. You do that, by the way, I don't know if anybody knows how to do an arc, just pull the sticks out, right? So if you've done your own orbit The trick to doing your own orbit is take the right stick and the left stick and move them both out at basically about the same time. It'll start turning. So if you're tracking to the right, all you have to do is pull that stick out to the left, and you'll arc around the car. It looks really good, but again, cars can't be going faster than about 35 miles an hour. The neatest thing I've done is off the Pacific Coast Highway. If you've been up by Point Magoo, where the road turns into Oxnard, it's got that big sort of pillar mountain on the side where the PCH cuts right through. A lot of TV commercials do this. I've done this. You're behind the car. You keep the gimbal down so that you're really not seeing the horizon in that case. And as the car turns, the drone flies right over the cliff. So you shock the people into looking at what's going on. So you want to always shock somebody. So it's really cool. Car's going straight down the PCH. You're right behind it, about 25 feet in the air. The gimbal's down this time, just kind of showing the car cruising down the road. And then the car turns and the drone goes straight, and the drone's going straight over the cliff, over the ocean. It's a really cool shot. They do it all the time in television commercials, movies, TV shows, and stuff like that. So those are the dynamics. Now, what was really exciting was at Grossmont, and some people are here from Grossmont. The last class at Grossmont is the last one we do is advanced cinematography, and we follow a car. We had 5 students, 5 drones, and we would follow a car around the entire parking lot if you're a student or you've gone to Grossmont. And it was very exciting because we had 5 drones at the same time flying at 5 different altitudes, deconflicting altitudes. We had a drone behind the car, we had a drone in front of the car, we had a drone on the top of the car doing bird's eye, and a drone on the side. Now, in live events, you have to do that. So the idea, the concept was to make sure the drones were all lined up so number 1, we didn't hit each other, and number 2, so the camera angles weren't showing the other drones, because you didn't really want the other drones in the shot to ruin the shot. So we worked on it, and the students did an outstanding job, and some of those students were the students that I took it's another segue, were the students that I took to Hermosa Beach for the Hermosa Beach volleyball tournament that I hired to film that event for Fox West, and we just won an award for that. It's over there. It's right there. So that Telly Award, I won it for directing drone cinematography, but we had 5 students, and each one of them took a specific part of that live event and filmed that. It was edited into a promotional segment for the network, and excuse me, we just won an award for that. The last time I won a Telly Award was like 20 years ago when I was at Fox Sports. So it was really, they're not easy to win. So it was really exciting to win one, and even more exciting to think that the students made that all possible, that each of them had a shot and I had a shot, that our shots all together ended up winning an award that I haven't been able to get my hands on for 20 years. So that was very exciting. The trophies are actually coming. It'll probably be in about 8 weeks, and we might do a little award presentation at Grossmont College. So all of them now have those trophies, and that their name in the directory, and for getting jobs in the industry, that will be very helpful. So I think that kind of gives you the overview of the cinematography part. Now let's talk about one of the other questions there. So those are some of the techniques. Let's talk about how do you get a job in the industry. Let's forget the way I did it for a minute, and let's talk about the reality of how you do it. First of all, in television and film, there's nothing that comes easy. You continually have to work and push doors open and market social media and create content. That's the way it is. I've been in the business. I've been in television and film for over 20 years. I was very fortunate. I pretty much interned for like 2 months and then ended up pitching a television show to Fox Sports called XSTV, which they picked up in 1998, and it became their #1 television show at the time. And then they moved me out to California. I was originally from Fort Lauderdale. They moved me out to California in 1999, and I ended up creating 5 TV shows for Fox. Behind me on the wall are Emmy nominations. I've won dozens of awards and produced a ton of content for them. I left them after about 5 years and ended up going into music videos. I produced the Wango Tango concert at Dodger Stadium for a few years, and I've worked with Nelly Furtado, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Wayne Newton, do these concert series, and then doing music videos for groups like Econoline Crush and Pennywise. So the workload and that I put in at the network definitely gave me the experience and the name recognition to go out on my own and direct music videos. So, but that all being said, it's not easy to get into, and there's two roads you can follow. One is you can go the route of, let's say, I don't want to say college, but film school, or you've already finished some sort of professional training with your Jones, and you get a job as an intern for either an independent production company that's big enough to pay you as an intern, not some little local shop, but somebody that actually does big projects, so that you can get that credibility that you need to move on, or work at a studio, same thing. But just understand that when you get in a shop or you get in the studio, you guys are drone pilots and put a lot of effort into it, and drone cinematographers. You're not going to start there. You're not necessarily going to start getting coffee, but you're certainly not going to start as a pilot. You'll be a VO, you'll be an assistant. I mean, you might just carry batteries. That's what I did for a while. So in that route, 3 to 5 years to move up through that industry. I have a very good friend of mine, I think Dawn's on. His name is Brad. He worked for me at when we started out. It took him 10 years to get to a point where he's a director of photography on all these reality television shows. So it truly is an industry where you have to put time in. So that's the one thing. But there's also the route of independent filmmaker, independent producer, creating your own shop. So what you guys have, or let's just say what I didn't have when I started, I didn't have YouTube, I didn't have Facebook, there's no social media. Your work, when you created your work, you put it on a freaking DVD, and if for some of you older people remember what that is, and then you would mail it, if you remember what that is, to the company, and then they would look at it, right? And that's what you did. I'd send out 100 DVDs at times. So now though, and then YouTube came along. By the way, I worked for YouTube when it first launched. I was one of the beta testers, and I worked with YouTube when Google bought it and helped actually create the video codec that you guys are all using today. So that's a little bit of trivia. Same thing I did at Apple for a while. So, but the idea is you have this social media platform, right? You have YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, which is great, right? That's, wow, man, I can do my videos and put them out there. And then you do that and you get like 5 views, 2 views. The problem is now, unlike 10 years ago when I started with social media, there's so much noise. Unless you have the best cat in the world that does the coolest cat tricks ever, you're not going to get noticed, So my recommendation is find a really neat cat, do some really good videos, and put them up to TikTok. Get 5 million views, and then that's how you'll be famous. But aside from that, you do have this opportunity to create compelling content and just keep hitting it, keep putting it out. So the way it seems that social media seems to work is keep your videos short. Oh my God, drone pilots are the worst, right? You'll go out and you'll fly down Santa Monica Pier, or you'll be out in Mission Bay, and the drone's flying along, and you'll take 10 minutes of that flying along, and that's your video. God, like I said, 5 years ago, that was cool. Right now, it'll put you to sleep. The average viewing, there's a reason why a commercial is 30 seconds, because that's the average attention span that just about everybody in the United States has. And really, the reason YouTube counts you as a view after 5 seconds is because the first 5 seconds are the most important. So if you're doing a video, stop doing videos that are freaking 10 minutes long. Your videos to promote your work need to be no longer than 90 seconds. 90 seconds is a legitimate trail. When you go to the movies, or if we ever go back to the movies, 90 seconds is a trailer, right? Movie trailer, 90 seconds. Coming soon, movie trailer, 90 seconds. Never, 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 never longer than 90 seconds. And really, it should be 60 seconds. So when you're out flying, think about hitting your marks and getting your sweet spot of your shots in 60 seconds. So, and then flood social media with it. The only way your social media accounts, and some of you I'm sure know all about social media and RILs and all this other stuff. The idea is you need to post every day. You have to post every day, right? Post a video every day. Even if you can go to one location, you can go to the beach and you could film for, I don't know, 3 or 4 batteries and have 25 minutes of footage and just cut it up into a bunch of different little videos that shows different stuff. Maybe one clip at the beach could show people laying out on their umbrellas, and another could show boats going down the waterway. Another, so when you go to a location to shoot, think about how much content you can get out of it and then post that stuff every day. Because it's the only way. First of all, you need the hours as a pilot. And secondly, the more you put out there, the more exposure you will get. If you don't post, you don't get exposure. And the way all these algorithms work, because YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, they make money off of you. They make money off of interaction. So the more interaction, the more new content you're putting up there, the more YouTube and Instagram and Facebook will start putting you at the top of the feeds, right? New content, fresh content. They know if it's an old video. They know if you haven't posted anything for a month. So you have to do a lot of work with that, but that's really how to get that recognition as maybe if you want to open up your own independent shop. Once you've done that, what you need to do is, if you're looking to get into creative and professional filmmaking, is you need to reach out to the local television channels and local cable, because that is where you'll get your jobs to produce TV commercials for those guys. That's where that'll start. And if you can get some good spots in there, you might be able to move to a different, move up the ladder. Additionally, you could try local television productions. There are those reality television shows, but it's a lot of work. And one last little social media tip. I don't know who follows me on LinkedIn, but if you look at I think I have almost 11,000 connections on LinkedIn. If you looked at my LinkedIn and you look at the people I've connected to, they're up, right? I moved up, date up, whatever you want to call it. So if you go to my LinkedIn, you're not going to find 5,000 drone pilots. I don't want to be friends with drone pilots. I mean, I'll be friends with you guys. I'm sure you're all wonderful people. I'll go flying with you anytime. But I don't need you on my LinkedIn account. Who I need on my LinkedIn account is the CEO of Paramount Pictures, is the executive producer of Spielberg's film, is the freaking guy that owns Drone Base. So if you look at my LinkedIn, I targeted people above me, like way above me. I'm in contact with CEOs of entertainment companies, television companies, media companies, directors, producers. I got a list of them. And you know what? I email them, I ask them questions, I keep the communications open, I ask them to mentor me. Everybody wants to mentor somebody. So if you're on LinkedIn and you're building up your social media, don't link into other pilots. Link into somebody that can help your career. Date up, move up. It's crazy as it sounds, man. You gotta be on TikTok. Just gotta do it. You have to be cinema and film now is very technology targeted. So you as a filmmaker, you as a drone pilot, need to be able to see what the trend is. I've been on TikTok for 3 years. You need to be able to see what the trend is and jump on that media platform.
Awesome advice. Awesome.
Awesome.
So,
I can't believe that I've just been blabbering away for 45 minutes.
And you did fantastic. But we do have some questions.
Good.
That was awesome.
I know.
Water.
Really good information. So, and I did find your connects, your drone connects, and looks like we already have somebody signing up there. So good connect right there for you. So I put that in our chat. So if anybody wants that, make sure you're saving the chat. We also have a couple of questions that I wanted to address before we wrap it up here. Looks like we have a couple of them. So kind of going back to when you were talking about the sky, Ben had said half sky, half ground is too much. What is a good ratio of ground sky?
Let's just say 3/4 of your picture should be the ground and 1/4 of your picture should be the sky.
All right.
Simple as I can make it.
Okay, there you go. Also, we have Robert asking, what is a good editing software that you would recommend for doing the perfect 60-second clip?
I didn't have a chance to get into that, but obviously if you're going to start your own production company, you're going to need to learn how to use Photoshop. You're going to need to have to fix your photos. And, you know, I'm partial to Adobe Premiere. I actually teach it. I'm a certified instructor for them. However, you have to get a subscription for that. You can download DaVinci 16 for free. It is a great editing tool, and there's a little bit of a learning curve, but there's tons of videos on YouTube that'll help you do that. So that's what I recommend. I recommend if you want to get a subscription, go with Adobe. It's $29 a month. Or if you want something for free that's as good as Adobe, then go with DaVinci, which is, you can get a free version of it. That's full, all the stuff is available.
Great. Okay. Also,
Don't throw in a bunch of effects and stuff like that. The people that are looking at that, they know what comes with the software program, right? Just make the edits good, make the shots good.
and that being said, that I've noticed there's a difference for who you're filming for.
Yeah.
I've noticed that, you know, if you're trying to put it on YouTube, it's a different film and effects than if you're trying to create something for a commercial type of purpose too.
Yeah.
I've noticed that. Yeah.
Sure.
So also Roseanne has a question about filming for real estate.
Yeah. What was your question?
Do you have some advice for kind of getting started in filming for real estate?
Yeah. One thing I'd like to add to whoever's out there watching and listening, I'm a teacher, but I'm a working producer. I'm out in the field every day. So all this stuff that I'm telling you or what I went through, I'm doing it now. I'm not like retired. I'm not, you know, they didn't put me out to pasture at Grossmont at some professor. I'm filming stuff like right now. I have a potentially huge movie project in the works. I'm hoping the pandemic shut it down, but I mean, it's major, big stuff. So here's my little tip on real estate. Realtors are old school. They are really, really old school. Think about how a realtor sells their property. A realtor goes to a house, they set up the house, they put a bowl of candy in the house, they put a ton of flyers in that house, which have pictures of the house, pictures from the outside, pictures of the inside, and then they have an open house. Realtors like to get pitched the same way they pitch. So if you want to get real estate jobs, do what I did when I came to Palm Springs 5 years ago. I put together 100 flyers. I took the best pictures I could of a house with my drone, and I went downtown, and there's probably 30 realtors down there. I walked in, I gave them a 5x7, beautiful glossy picture of what they use. Listing shots is what they use. And I say, I'm a drone pilot, I'm a drone pilot, I'm a drone pilot. Gave it to them with prices that started relatively cheap, $50, $150, $250. And I probably, out of the 30 realtors, I got 3 of them, but that's all I needed. I have those realtors to this day. So I've been doing photos for the same realtors, and I don't know how much money that is, but it's been pretty good. You can also pitch a realtor, because realtors, I hope there's no realtors listening. I've just heard that realtors can be notoriously, I don't want to say the word cheap, but okay. And you can also, if you're willing, if you know the realtor good enough, you could tell them you'll be part of the sale. You know, at closing, they can pay you. Because realtors, remember, they don't get paid till they sell a house. So the idea that you would shoot videos for them or pictures for them, and then when they sell that house, you get your commission or your pay from it. A lot of them will say yes to that right away. Obviously, you just have to make sure that the person that, you know, you're working with will pay you.
Great advice right there. So we're about out of time, but we'll just take this one last question and then we'll provide a link so that people can reach out to you. But Maggie is asking that, Skip, now that we have taken a look at this mini class, can we be a part of your Saturday webinar?
Yes, those are free because what else am I going to do on a Saturday morning during the pandemic? So these seminars, they're Zoom seminars. They're on, what I do is I launch them through Drone Connects, which is my educational social media site, droneconnects.com. It's very similar to Facebook, except the fact that it's private. So Drone Connects is private. It's only for students and for those who are invited. We're not charging anything for that yet. And once you're a member there, you'll get the postings and the listings of when we're going to have a seminar. And anybody that's watching, anybody that paid to see me today is more than welcome to sign up for free and get some more stuff.
Good. All right. Well, I will send this chat out to you so that you can address any more questions that may come through if you'd like.
Sure.
And any last words to wrap up the webinar?
Just that, as hard as it's not hard. I don't want to say if you do the work, because I was kind of lucky when I got started, but I still had to do the work, right? So if you want to be a good pilot, if you want to, go out and fly. I don't understand people that just let their drone sit in the closet. What is not fun about this? Just go out and fly, and if you have a friend that's got a wedding, do their wedding, offer up your services. You need to build a portfolio. You need a website with pictures. You need videos. You need time. You need time on the sticks. You need to show a potential client that you've got 200, 300, 400 hours, and you need to show a bunch of different video and pictures so somebody could look at them. So don't fly. Just go fly. That's all I can say is just keep going flying. It doesn't suck. There's nothing about this work that sucks.
Oh, darn, right?
I know, right? I've had so much fun. I used to, I don't take jobs anymore where camera sits on the ground. I'm having so much fun. It's like my career started all over again. And any chance I get to go out flying, I go out flying. I come up with something else to film or shoot or try a different technique. So just go fly. That's what I'm going to leave everybody with. Go fly.
You get those big cameras on your shoulders, Skip?
Too heavy, man. I'm too heavy for that. I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, man. Those things get heavy after like all day doing those things. That's great when drones came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to carry anything. The drone just flies.
Right.
Let it do the work.
Awesome class. Awesome. Definitely.
Any last words, Kim?
It's just great. That's what I love about the drone community. Number one, Skip had an awesome Siamese cat walking in the background.
I know, we did. We saw your cat.
I love Siamese cats. But I just want to say, everybody who's on this, that's what's wonderful about the drone community is that we are so passionate about what we do. We love what we do. We are always learning. With all his experience, I know he's always learning. I'm always learning. Desi's always learning. We've been in the game for 20, 15, 10, 5 years. So, it's not an overnight success, and you must get out and practice and, start a meetup or do something where you can get somebody out there to practice with you. And like what Skip said, just the basics. I'm a flight instructor, flying that 30 seconds down a sidewalk. What great advice. How hard is that to go out and take 2 batteries and make it a goal to do that and film it, then go back home and watch it. See how good you are. Make sure you push start on your video, right? Don't forget to do that. You can watch it, yeah. So it's just really great basic advice that just is consistency. So I really appreciate it. And it's always great to hear from you and your enthusiasm, Skip. Thank you so much. And the comments we're getting are just, everybody just has loved this.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
We will share it. Sorry we couldn't get to all the questions, but we will get them addressed. All right.
Yes.
Bye. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, everybody. Great to see you. See you, Skip.
Bye. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay. How do I leave this thing? Oh, there you go. I just clicked leave. Bye.
Bye.